Hey everybody. Hi. Happy Monday. Happy President's Day. Welcome to McKellar Motivational Monday. I'm looking very bright over here on Facebook and Periscope. I look much more normal on Instagram for that reason. Hey everybody, how are you? How's your weekend? You guys have a long weekend this weekend? Hey Mom. My mom just joined on Periscope here. Yeah, so I'm doing three streams here. This is Instagram Live, this is Periscope, this is Facebook Live. So, hey guys, tell me where you're watching from and tell me if you're having a good weekend. Happy Monday, Roger. Hey Carrie, how are you doing? Hey Neil, what are you doing watching live? Hi. I saw a cool post from you, and you looked good. I didn't read it. I have to go back and read it because it looked cool, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" Los Angeles, nice. South Pasadena, another Los Angeles. Brooklyn, New York, Albuquerque. Had a fun Sunday, yes. That was my mom. I could talk to these people like Neil and my mom like anytime, so I'm going to talk to the rest of you guys more now. Lexington, Kentucky, nice. Burbank, again, wow. Any like, international? Got Minnesota, here in Washington State, Vancouver, that's international, Oklahoma. Mr. Compton, nice. Brentwood, I can't get over how local this is. Oh my goodness, and Periscope is sliding down again. This happened 2 weeks ago where the camera fell. I obviously need a better setup. It fell. It was very dramatic. Everything came crashing down. So, hi. So every week we get together, every Monday we get together. We talk about something that's going to give us a better week, a better perspective on life, maybe. Look, Periscope's actually tilted now. I don't know what's going on. So this week I thought sometimes we talk about, I don't know, how to motivate to be healthier or stuff. I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about rejection, because it's something that we all deal with all the time in little and big ways. I'm watching Periscope slowly slide down. This is really horrible. Okay, let me just screw you guys up and let's see. Lots of gaffer's tape. Yeah, no, I have this great setup. The Archon mounts, thank you so much. It's just that the iPad that I'm using for Periscope is not quite the right size. I have to change that. I am not rejecting you guys, Ed. No, I am not. But I want to talk about, and rejection can be anything from a relationship to a job. It can be not being picked for the basketball team or whatever it is. We all deal with rejection, and I wanted to just talk about it for a minute because it's something that we can all get stuck in sometimes. You just get stuck because you get rejected by something and your brain keeps going over and over and what could have I done differently, and somehow it was my fault, and we put a lot of blame on ourselves when we get rejected from something. And look, a lot of times it might have something to do with us personally, sure, but when we just have a story or a book rejected, when we get stuck and we keep thinking about it over and over and over again, we could drive ourselves crazy. And part of why we do that, I believe, is because we're trying to gain control of it. Because when we get rejected from something, we didn't have control over that. We didn't choose it. And so we try to work it out and play it differently in our heads and create scenarios, and it's all of our brain's way of trying to gain control of a situation we didn't have control over, and we have to just deal because we didn't have control. Another thing, divorce could be one. Australia, very good afternoon. Why do we freak out if we lose control? Well, it's scary, right, Mary? We want to have it. We want to feel safe, and yes, we know what we want. Well, we think we know what we want. You had a rejection last for 8 years. Anonymous Quilter. That's a great name. Before you could let it go. Yeah, it's hard. We can't control our destiny. We can do some things, but we can't do everything. And we're not in control of everything. And that's one of the overarching messages I just want to remind us all of. And I say us because I do this. I always do these things for all of us because they're all reminders we could all use. Sometimes it's just perceived rejection. It's not even real. That's so true, Wolf Puppy. And sometimes I love these names. I could just say it with a serious face. Yes, Wolf Puppy. Yes, and Anonymous Quilter or something else. And rejection may not always be a bad thing, and things happen for a reason, sure. But here's the thing. Sometimes when rejection happens, okay, Periscope is going to fall. Sometimes we tell ourselves, in fact, oftentimes we'll tell ourselves, well, it's their loss, and better off without that person. And sometimes you are better off without that person. Sometimes you are better off without that job or without that opportunity or not being on the basketball team or whatever it is. But sometimes it just doesn't feel good. It just sucks, okay? It just sucks. And when we tell ourselves it's not that big a deal, it's not that big a deal, sometimes we're lying to ourselves. Maybe it is a big deal. But here's the message that we want to give ourselves. Maybe it was a big deal, but we're going to be okay anyway. And that's where you start to develop faith in your own strength and your own resilience. Yeah, you know what? That was a big deal. That was messed up. I was just rejected, and that was not cool. That was not fair. That was not whatever. But you know what? I'm going to be okay. Maybe I am better off. Maybe I'm not, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to keep sliding the Periscope iPad up. So this whole no big deal thing, and maybe it is a big deal, if we can accept the emotions we're having and not be like just eating ice cream and like doing other things to distract ourselves from the rejection, we're going to be better off. We can face this stuff like grown-ups. Okay, that sucked, and that I did not want to be rejected, and I was, and okay, maybe that was a big deal, and maybe I'm going to be okay anyway. Yes, rejection can make you stronger. Absolutely. Not beating ourselves up is really, really, really important, because the other thing, like I mentioned before, is we start beating ourselves up about it in order to gain control. Yes, J-Rod, yes, God has a different plan. Absolutely. But it still can be a thing where we need to acknowledge the fact that something that happened wasn't good, and it actually wasn't good. And it is what it is. Acknowledging that we have control over some things and don't have control over others is one of the most powerful, empowering things we can do for ourselves. Because the things that you don't have control over, you can let them go. Because you're not being irresponsible. For me, I tend to be a hyper-responsible person, or I try to be, and so I want to make sure I'm not like messing anything up, and I'm a loyal person, and I'm responsible, and I'm doing everything that's right to be done, and I really try to stay on it. So I tend to, oh shit, what happened here? Oh, when I was adjusting, hang on, I want to make sure I can see the Periscope concept. There we go, back on again. What was I just saying about about control, I think. That when you acknowledge that there are some things you have control over and some things you don't, then the things that you don't have control over, you really can let those go. I might just hold this iPad. This is driving me crazy. Oh my goodness gracious. How do you deal with being in the spotlight and staying humble, Jules? Because I'm old. Okay, that's it. I'm holding Periscope. That's it. I'm just holding it. Okay. I'll hold it right here. This is not going to work. I'll hold it right there. I've been around long enough to not take things for granted. Let's just put it that way. Do you like someone has been disappointed by... Have you liked someone has been disappointed by... Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes. No, that's the other thing. Sometimes we're in a relationship and we're disappointed by them and we're rejected by them, but they actually weren't what we thought they were, because like when you first get to know somebody and everything seems so great and you fill in the gaps for the rest of the personality that you haven't seen yet. You just fill in the gaps. You haven't seen these things yet about them, but you sort of assume them because you want to assume them. Then you get rejected by them, but it's like, wait a minute, maybe that person that I was just rejected by wasn't the person I thought they were. Maybe we shouldn't take that to heart, you guys, because maybe they weren't worth it. Maybe they really weren't worth it. Maybe. But I didn't come on this live stream today to say when something bad happens, you didn't need them anyway, and it wasn't a very good job anyway, and who cares? Because I want to show you the other perspective. Maybe it was a big deal. It's just that you're going to be okay anyway. And if you don't have control over something, don't linger on it. Don't play it over and over again in your head. You're not getting anywhere. That's like running in quicksand. It's exhausting, and you don't get anywhere. You get exhausted is what you get. Another thing is you don't want to identify with the rejection, and that's easy to do, especially when there's all that like negative self-talk and criticism. When we identify with it, like, okay, I lost the opportunity to be on the basketball team. I keep using that example because I want to use something other than just like relationships. That doesn't make you a loser. That's a thing that happened. It's not who you are. If you don't get the job, you're not a person who doesn't get jobs. That's a thing that happened. You are a person who didn't get that job, but you're going to get another one. There are things we can control and there are things that we can't control. If we were able to take all of our energy and only focus it on the things that we can control, can you have any idea how powerful we would be? I mean, it's mind-blowing. The amount of time we spend going over situations that we don't have any control over. The amount of wasted energy is unfathomable. This is what I submit to you. And we're all guilty of it. Every single one of us. Oh, thanks for a super heart. FLA, that guy or flat guy? What if you win the basketball team? Then, you know what? Congratulations. You have to get out of your own head. That's true. Nobody can tell you your self-worth, photo guy. That's absolutely true. And you know, there's a great quote. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. Think about that. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. That was Eleanor Roosevelt, I believe. I wrote a couple notes because I didn't want to forget. Oh, yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. If the other thing is, what can you learn from it? What can we learn from it? What do we have control over? Because maybe we messed up. Maybe we did something that messed up. Maybe, because none of us are perfect. And if you know what that, we don't always know what that thing was. Sometimes we don't get to know. But if you know what that thing was, can you learn from that? Can you learn from it? Can we learn from the things, from the mistakes, from the rejections that we get? And then you move on. You move on and you focus on the things. If you guys take one thing from this stream, one thing, that is to recognize the things you have control over and the things you don't have control over, and spend your energy on the things you do have control over, which is basically just ourselves and the way we act and the way we react and the way we handle our emotions, the way we handle our day. Get out, and if you're feeling stuck in negative self-talk and you just can't figure out how to get out of it, change your body chemistry by doing something physical. Sometimes the person doing the rejecting feels inadequate in the presence of those they're rejecting. That could be happening. Who knows? That sounds like a thing you don't have control over. So guess what? It's not really worth the time. We have control over our thoughts. I think we have control over most of our thoughts. Oftentimes we'll have like our first thought is crazy and negative and irrational or whatever. But we have a choice whether we stay in those thoughts or not. The second thought we have, that's a choice. Thank you, Tetrical Magic. Change your thoughts, change your world. And that's true, Money Lane. That's really, 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 really true. What do we have control over? We have control over our company sometimes, not always. Yes, you can learn new things, Dean. Yes, you can. And we need to all be easy on ourselves too. We can't expect like total change overnight in terms of our behaviors. But did you know, and okay, I read this somewhere and I could be getting it wrong, but it's something like 95% of the thoughts that we have in a day are the same exact ones as we had yesterday? Think about that. That does not sound like forward motion. It doesn't sound like making progress. If 95% of the thoughts that we had today are the same ones we had yesterday, that means we are a little bit stuck. Oh yeah? Ooh, a psychology major, Brandon Workman. Thank you. I'm not a psychology major. I'm just a person who has lived a lot of life, and I'm in my 40s, and I have a lot of thoughts, and I love interacting with you guys. So, accept the things you cannot change. Yes, Sarah. So there is a great, or Sarasota. Oh, Sarasota, Matt. Not Sarah, Matt. Yes. There's a great quote, the Serenity Prayer, which I've said many times on my scopes before. And that is, God, grant me the serenity, and you can drop the God part if you don't like it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And just know that the things that we can control, it's a very small percentage of the things in our life. But it's the most powerful because it's you sitting in a room by yourself. What are you going to think about? What are you going to spend your time thinking about? That's something you can control in some ways. Are you going to get exercise? Are you going to make healthy choices for your food? Are you going to just exude kindness just because it's the right thing to do and because you're going to make somebody else's day? And we all feel better when we're helping other people. We feel better. Helping people with no strings attached, that is. That's a whole different conversation. Helping like codependent people who are leaning on us too much and then expect a lot and then we feel like we're wasting our lives. That's a totally different thing. Stay away from toxic people. Yes, believe me or not. Thank you, B-Hat. Whenever you get knocked down, you're the one who chooses whether you get it back up again. Yeah, and it's not always easy, and you can't always do it alone either. So call on your friends. Call on your family. Stay around other people. Get active. And reach out and call your parents and your grandparents. If you're still lucky enough to have your grandparents, call them and tell them that you love them. Or just call them and say hello and see how they're doing if you're not close enough to just be like, hey, I love you. Whatever it is. Look, I'm a mom. I'm happy whenever my son even looks at me, says anything. He's 8 years old. I will always be happy whenever he says anything to me. So anyway, call your parents, call your grandparents. Make their day. Call them tomorrow. Go see them if you can. Really. And these things where you just know you're doing the right thing, that's good for your soul. I'm holding you. It's good for your soul. It's good for our souls to do things that are nice. Kindness. Spreading kindness. It'll help you. It really will. And that's one of those things that you can control. Hi, Mom. Yes, and my mom's watching. We had a really fun trip to New York. Was that a week ago? It was a week ago. A little more than a week ago. Character is how you cope with the curveballs. Oh, I like that. Balls. His name is Balls with a bunch of Z's. I don't know what to make of that. But your paramedic and kids and family make everything better. Spend your energy enjoying today and time planning to enjoy tomorrow. Yes, I don't have my grandparents either, Ricardo. Not anymore. Gotta enjoy them while you have them, you guys. Chicken soup for the soul. Yeah. Thank you, Louise. New Zealand. You know, the Mash Bronson Chad, whatever your name. Yes, some people feel comfortable with God, the name God, in terms of their religious beliefs, and some people don't like it. And the Serenity Prayer is for everybody, in my opinion. So that's why I said, if you would like to take out the word God, I like it in. Some people don't. Some people think of it as higher power or whatever. So, thank you, Lee Turley. Yes, I love being on Hallmark Channel too. I really do. So anyway, that's pretty much what I want to talk to you guys about. And so let me wrap it up in a nutshell here. So when we get rejected, sometimes people are like, oh, well, it's no big deal. You're better off with whatever. Maybe it is a big deal. But the point is, you're okay anyway. We are all okay anyway. We really are. And that's the message you want to tell yourself. Not that it wasn't a big deal. Maybe it was a big deal. But so what? So what? You're okay anyway. Yes, the cue. I like that. That's a different topic. Yes, but here's the thing. So that's, so don't lie to yourself if it was a big deal, the thing you were rejected from. Just know that you're okay anyway. That's one thing. Another thing is, don't beat yourself up with negative self-talk. We have to be careful what that voice is in our head all the time. And remember that a lot of times when we're going over stuff and trying to figure out how we could have not been rejected or whatever, too much of that is us just trying to control something we didn't have control over. And don't identify with a rejection. If you lost out something, it doesn't mean you're a loser. It just means you lost that one thing. The rejection is a thing that happened to you. It doesn't define you. It doesn't define you. It's just a thing that happened. And by trying to go over and over it and trying to pretend like we have control when we don't, It's a waste of energy and it will exhaust you. So don't do that. And then, of course, if there's anything we can learn from it, sure. But not with a bunch of negative self-talk. Just like, okay, well, did I mess up? Let's look at this objectively. And again, if you did mess up, okay, so what? Learn from it and you move on, for real. And if you're feeling stuck and you're feeling stuck in negative feelings, remember, you can change your body chemistry by the stuff you eat, by getting enough sleep, by moving your body. Just get up and move. I wasn't feeling well last week, and at one point a couple of days ago, I did a little Insta story of just like moving, just move your body. Just do some jumping jacks. Just do some push-ups. Just put your arms up over your head and bring it back down again. Anything. Move your body, get the blood flowing. It will change your body chemistry and make you able to have different feelings because our minds and our bodies are completely connected to each other. That's pretty much it, you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your shares and your follows. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate you, all of you. I've been loving, so I write math books, as some of you know, McKellarMath.com. I love it when you send me pictures of your kids with my books. It makes me so happy. So you can either tweet them to me or direct message on Instagram. I try to check direct messages on Instagram when I can. And yes, meditation is, yes, Mystic Ninja. I've been meditating now very regularly since December 5th. Or December 5th. Lori Lachlan and I started doing it together. I mean, not like literally together, but we text each other. Yeah, so thank you so much, and I will see you all soon again on the Dana Cam. Thank you for all watching, and thank you, you are the D Squad. Mwah! I'll see you very soon. Bye.